Hey guys, what is up? My name is the Bomb93, and you're gonna have to excuse the bloody lip, but I accidentally did something really stupid. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about something that's a little bit more personal to me. Anyways, and I want to talk about the reason why I'm not buying Sony hardware. And before we begin, I want to make sure and make this clear that it has nothing to do with the games. Honestly, there are a few games from Sony I wanted to try. Ironically, Spider-Man isn't one of them, but if you're interested in an Arkham Knight style of game, I'd highly recommend the Spider-Man game. Okay, so before we begin, I've wanted to play Detroit Become, but I've kind of like been off of it. I find it quite fun. It doesn't feel like a lot of the older David Cage games. I wanted to play God of War. I wanted to play the Horizon Zero Dawn, see how that compares to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think I've said in previous videos, been on this channel. I want to see games like that, but I never myself would buy another PlayStation, even though I have a PS2 and PS3 and have been part of the Sony ecosystem for a while now. But I think it's time for me to move on. And before you call me out being a lazy fanboy, hear me out. I don't necessarily like everything Nintendo does, nor do I like everything Microsoft does. So, regardless of platform that Microsoft has, I don't like everything that Android does. I don't like everything that Apple does. So, I don't want to say I'm fanboying more towards one thing than another. But there are a couple of things that I will say about companies like Sony that I feel like they've lost along the way. And don't get me wrong, I think every company has at some point in their lives. And for Nintendo, theirs are brief moments. For example, the end of the Wii U life cycle, where it just felt like they were pushing out games to push out games, like Star Fox Zero. I'm sorry, but that game sucked. Anyways, let's start talking about some other things about Sony and why I will not buy a Sony PlayStation in the future. We're going to deal with number one, crossplay. Now, okay, I don't feel like I really need to mention this one. And because it hurts and it's very anti-competitive. I don't care if you're a Sony fanboy, oh, it's so competitive because we have exclusive content. That's not what makes a system competitive. A competitive ecosystem would be there'd be no exclusives. Every single system out there would get every single game out there, but it's just not the case. And you know what? To Microsoft's disadvantages here, they don't have as many exclusives. Although I will say Forza Horizon 4 is coming. Think about that. Forza Horizon 4. I think it's going to be the underrated game of the holiday season this year. Just watch. The most underrated game. I think Forza Horizon has done a great job in the past of actually doing the racing game genre right. I mean, you can look at other games such as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yeah, this is a Switch thing. I mean, and they've done it right. Oh, yeah, I got this the right way actually for once. There you go. My Switch. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has done it right. Mario Kart 8 did it right before that. Forza Horizon 3 did it really well. You know, you get that simulation sort of relaxed feeling in Forza Horizon, and it does it well. I mean, you look at games like The Crew, and I played The Crew 2's open beta. I wasn't a huge fan of the way The Crew originally did it, nor am I a fan of the way The Crew's doing it now. It just feels like Ghost Games went over to Ubisoft and said, hey, we want to make a Need for Speed-like game for that platform. Just saying, kind of hurt me, personally. As for the Gran Turismo series, I think there are other games, even on Sony's platform itself, that does the simulation genre a lot better. If you want to take a look at one, Project Cars 2, for example. If you want to talk about realistic racing sims, I know people that If you're hardcore into racing sims, setting up your car properly in Project Cars 2 is a pain. If you're not into that, you have to set up your car just right so that way it feels right for you. That being said, there are other games like Assetto Corsa as well on PS4 that definitely do give that experience. Now, disagree with me all you want. I feel like people make mistakes in choosing the wrong games. Forza and Gran Turismo are great games, don't get me wrong, but they're just not as much as I'd like anymore. Whereas the Forza Horizon series does what I'd want it to do in an experience like that. Just saying. Anyways, number 3. A lot of the games just don't feel like they entice. Like, yeah, you hear about an exclusive and you get hyped up for it. Then you hear about it for a week and then it's gone. Like, Nintendo, we're going to be hearing about Smash Bros. Ultimate for a while. In fact, we were hearing about Smash Bros. for forever. It just feels with Sony, they have a great game come up, like Horizon Zero Dawn. We hear a little bit about DLC, but it just felt like there was another third-party game that just overshadowed it. I don't say this is in any part due to Sony themselves. Because Horizon seems like a great game. It's got very Zelda-y aspects of it, and that's not something I'm going to hate about. But when your game gets overshadowed on your own console, it just makes your platform seem a little diminished. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, any Nintendo game comes out, it doesn't matter where FIFA comes out, it doesn't matter when Red Dead comes out. I'm pretty sure Red Dead will sell its fair share because Rockstar does a great job with their games, don't get me wrong. Mario Party comes out in the same month. And I hear a lot of my friends that own a PS4 not talking about Red Dead. They were talking about Mario Party. Who else in the video game community does it? I don't think Xbox does it either. For example, once again, we've got Forza Horizon 4 coming out in the same month as Mario Party and Red Dead 2. Yeah, we don't talk about those. We talk about Mario. People own other properties. For example, I own a PC and a Switch, so I'm able to play those Xbox games. I'm talking about Mario Party. I mean, Red Dead is a whole nother league, but man, I want to play some Red Dead too. So, yeah. I'm not saying I hate it. I want to play it, but I'm talking about Mario Party with my friends. I'm not talking about Forza Horizon 4 or what have we. I'm talking about Mario Party. It feels like Sony's games, they get overshadowed a little bit. Like, for example, when Horizon Zero Dawn came out, it got overshadowed by a Zelda game. At Sony, I would be pissed if that happened. I would be absolutely infuriated if that happened. I'd be trying to figure out a way to get my game out there. And reason number 4. It doesn't feel like there's as much gap in the console segment as there was 10, 15 years ago, even. Like, for example, when the PS1 came out, there was a huge gap in disparity. Yeah, sure, the Sega Saturn could produce the same level of graphics as a PS1 could, but it was complicated, and the N64 was off for another 2 years, and then the Dreamcast came out 3 years later. I mean, you look at that, especially when it comes to Sony, and you look and you say, well, that's not necessarily Sony's fault, and it isn't. I mean, no criticisms to Sony given. It feels a lot like Sony wasn't getting things right. And, you know, Sony wasn't. I'm going to be honest. Sony wasn't. But at the same time, the PS2 came out. Yeah, sure, the Xbox overpowered it, and the GameCube wasn't that far away from it for, like, a certain amount less for a time. And I wish Nintendo would still follow the policy that if you built the system, the games will sell. Nintendo hasn't used that policy in over 20 years. And over 10 years. Ever since the Wii came out, that wasn't really priced either. Fairly priced either. They haven't used that policy since the GameCube came out. And I'm sorry, if that policy that you had, old Nintendo, doesn't apply today, what the heck? You know, you see what I'm saying, guys? And I wasn't going to include this one, but it just feels like a PS4 isn't really... Yeah, sure, it's a more powerful system than an Xbox One or a Nintendo Switch. Like this. But even though this is the most underpowered system of this generation, I don't feel like it's really underclassed. Because it can do all the things that a Xbox One, or it can do everything that those can do. Maybe not as well because it's limited by the fact that it's running Maxwell technology and A57 ARM cores, but at the same time, I don't care about that stuff. If you give me a good enough experience, it won't matter about the graphics anymore. I mean, for example, Rocket League, I own it on PC. I own it on Switch. I have just as much fun playing it on that as I do on this. Just saying. Just saying, guys. Focus more on the games and the quality. And focus on not being overshadowed by other games. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Sony and Microsoft's got their hands full with Kingdom Hearts coming out, Red Dead 2. They got those games coming out. Then you look at Nintendo, well, what did they got? They've got Mario Party. They've got Smash Brothers. They've got... Let's wait for the Direct, see what else is coming out in the holiday season this year. But I feel like, you know, that's kind of what it is at. Anyways, that's just my opinion. As always, I like to leave it up to you guys. What's your opinion? Do you appreciate Sony a little bit more than I do? Do you understand the points where I'm coming from? That it just doesn't seem like Sony does things right anymore? Or maybe I'm just plain wrong. Maybe you disagree with me completely on those points. But I want to see what you think. So, you know what? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd be happy to read them. And in fact, this might be a topic we continue on of why I'm not buying an Xbox, or why I have very little faith that Nintendo's going to do well with the Nintendo Switch, even though I own one. Anyways, guys, that's my time for today. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe if you want to see more of those kind of videos. You know, if I get more subscriptions, the more these videos go up, more content for you. Instead of me referring you to other people, such as Twilight Gab 2010, good friend of mine, I do show up on her videos quite often. So, yeah. In fact, she's actually posting today. It's Wednesday, right? Yeah. It's 3:24 in the morning when I'm recording this. So if I seem a little tired, it's because, you know, I am. But, yeah. I'll send you over to her channel in a link in the description. Sure, check out those descriptions because I give you my links to my other social media accounts such as Twitter, Facebook, and my other YouTube account. I haven't posted on that in a while, but we're going to talk a little bit about depression on that channel in a bit. And maybe do a little bit of a well-deserved kind of, not a hate, but just kind of something that somebody's been lying on YouTube, and I just am tired of it. Anyways, guys, that's my time for today. As always, I'm the Bomb93. Till next time, stay bomby.